All right, so you look at that roster, okay, and what does it scream to you? What it says to me is Glister and Shui are actually very promising upcoming talent on DPS. Banar is pretty promising. J-Mac, honestly, I can't even remember whether he's been good or not recently. He's not a player that I've been paying attention to. In fact, I should probably just look him up. I should probably just look him up now because I can't even remember, honestly, anything about J-Mac. Oh, he was one of the LG Huya players. That's interesting. Well, no wonder I haven't been paying attention to him because he's been on like a third best team in no, they were the first best team in China, right? And then they kind of shit the bed in the what was it? The Pacific Showdown. They lost to fucking Talon 3-0 when they were the number 1 seed coming in. Okay, well, I mean, in my opinion, jury is totally out because unless you're playing against and with good competition, it's so difficult to tell whether you're a decent tank player. But the fact that I haven't even noticed him while I've been watching those games, I think says a little bit. And then they have Fuse, who's alright, and then probably going to run Highly. If this is actually a leak of Highly going to, or not a leak, a thingy, a teaser. Okay, so what do I actually think about this roster? I think that they've done that classic thing again where they've actually picked up a bunch of players that could be decent, but they have no existing structure in their team. And the likelihood of 6 players that you pick up who all have potential but might not actually be able to realize it in OWL, the likelihood of that all going well is so unlikely. Like, it's so unlikely for London to actually find success. But let's compare what they were doing previously. So when you look at what Cloud9 have been doing recently with their rosters in a bunch of different games, they've been investing heavily in ones that they think are going to be successful and drawing back heavily in ones that they don't want to put too much money into. You know, they've been smart with where they want to invest. It seems like London have prioritized their coaching staff, picked up Pavan, who worked with NYXL, Agape, they've promoted to head coach, and then they've got Twinkle, who worked with O2, and Awesome Guy used to be a pro player. So their coaching staff should be all right. They should be pretty capable. I don't think it's an incredible coaching staff, actually, because Agape hasn't really been able to do anything with the London Spitfire. Like, you had all the talent in the world to work with on the London Spitfire, and you weren't able to really pull anything better than like a 6th place out of the bag in the regular season, both seasons. That says to me that the coaching staff was the issue there. So I don't have that much faith in Agape. But Pavan, I think the only reason that he would take an assistant coaching job on another team personally is that he was pushed out of the NYXL. Now, that's pure speculation. I don't know that for a fact, but I would not expect him to make this career move as a personal decision. So, I don't know. Even though there's a lot of big name with Agape and Pavan, I think that this is a capable coaching staff, but not an all-star coaching staff, as some people seem to. Yeah, in the regular season, Agent Utah. They were very middling over the course of both of the regular seasons, which is the majority of your gameplay, right? Like, it's great if you're a team that can peak in the playoffs, but you can't bank on peaking in the playoffs. Like, you can't afford to just keep coming 5th, 6th during the regular season. I mean, what did London finish this season? 7th or something? Like, actually very poor performance for the level of talent that they had on that team. Now, the level of talent is definitely less on this team. Glister, I think, could be one of the best players coming out on DPS out of the Korean contenders. Shui has looked very good as well. But also, Shui, I would say, is not one of the elite candidates coming out of Korean contenders. He just looks like someone that will be good. Like, Shui looks like somebody who will be a very good player. But he's not someone who you're like, holy shit, this guy was plowing his way through contenders. Pick him up right the hell now. So this DPS line at the moment looks pretty decent. If they add another player to it who's good or promising, then I'm starting to feel, honestly, pretty good about their DPS. I don't think the DPS is the problem in this team at all. I think that you can take a couple of risks with your DPS players and try and mold them. It's got a lot of variability. And then their tanks, though, I think there's a lot of potential for JMac to shit the bed. Having said that, I haven't really watched too much. I mean, I have actually watched him. That's the thing, because I've watched a bunch of LGE Huya games, both at the Gauntlet and then the Pacific Contenders, and I think I watched the Chinese finals as well. But I feel like if he was really good, I would have noticed him. And also, let's say there's a world in which I didn't notice him and he is really good. Because he's been playing in Chinese Contenders as a Korean player for all this time, and their team actually shit the bed at the Pacific Atlantic Showdown, rather the Pacific Showdown, and then got bopped by like Gladiators Legion in the Gauntlet 3-0. I don't know, dude. Like, clearly your team was not at a high enough level for you to be able to showcase your ability. So there's a lot of variability with picking up JMac, I think, or just any main tank in that position. Like, anyone who hasn't been plowing Chinese Contenders, in my opinion, is a risky pickup. But who do I know? Oh, it was the whole team that shit the bed, Monkey Meatloaf. It wasn't just him. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely was not just JMac's fault that they lost at the Pacific Showdown. In fact, I can't even remember watching JMac. The whole team was just dire. Like, I actually watched that game and I was like, this team is poo. And I just didn't pay attention to them at all. I didn't think any of them would be getting picked up for Al. So I'll maybe have to go back and watch some JMac and see if he's any good. Anyway, I think that that's a very unknown quantity, at least for me. And Bernard did look really good. Like, Bernard is a very decent player to pick up. But the fact that you have, like, unproven, massively, unproven, played pretty well in the games where he was playing, actually. I think Hailey is very average to maybe slightly below average flex support in Owl. But that's doable. Like, that's fine. When I look at this roster for London, it screams to me, this was cheap. We're investing in talent for the future, for the long term. We're going to try and lock them into long-term contracts if we find players that we like. And also, we ain't bothered if we finish in like 6th, 7th, 8th place, because that's exactly what Profit and Gesture and the rest of them were doing. So if we pick up the greatest talent in the world, we still finish in 7th. So why the fuck would we bother picking up the best talent in the world? Let's just pick up some cheap talent and invest in our future, and hopefully we hit on some gems. So that's... I'll follow Rascal. Don't worry about it, chat. So I think that's what London are going for here. This doesn't scream to me as like a team that's going to be slapping people around. But yeah, I guess there are a lot of other free agents on the market. I would expect them to pick up another. I think they need another main tank. Am I just being too harsh on JMac because I don't know him? Probably is the answer to that question. But even then, it's always good to have another main tank if you have any suspicion that your starting main tank might not be the best. Like, the guy is mad unproven. If he's not even had that much success in Chinese Contenders, like, the guy's crazy unproven. So you should probably get another main tank. Like, if they picked up Tizzy, I would feel so much more confident about London.